They used pure acid to erase it. They scraped it, polished it, and immersed it in corrosive chemicals to prove to the world that it was nothing more than a simple fake. But what scientists and chemists discovered inside this piece of glass stunned human logic. It was not paint. It was not an optical illusion. It was, scientifically speaking, impossible. To understand why this story is so shocking to modern physics, we must travel back in time. It is January 17th, 1797. We are in Absam, a small freezing village in the heart of Tyrol, Austria. It is an ordinary afternoon for Rosina Bucher, an 18-year-old girl. She is doing household chores, tired, and she stops for a moment to look out of the kitchen window. But there is something strange on the glass. At first, she thinks it is condensation, or a reflection of the ice outside. But the longer she stares at that small pane of glass, the clearer the outlines become. It is not a stain. It is a face, a perfect monochrome face of a sorrowful woman. It is the face of the Virgin Mary, and she is looking at her. Rosina blinks, thinking she must be hallucinating. She calls her mother, but the face is still there. And this is where the first mystery begins. Her mother takes a wet cloth and rubs the glass hard. The image immediately disappears under the water. It seems to be over. But as soon as the glass dries in the cold air, the face reappears, perfect, intact. It is a mystery, but later we will explain why this happens. The news spreads through the village like wildfire. Hundreds of people gather outside Rosina's house. But you must understand the time period we are in. It is the end of the 1700s, the age of the Enlightenment. Science and reason are gaining ground, and government authorities despise superstition. Both the local police and church officials are convinced that this is a blasphemous fraud. Some skilled local painter must have painted the glass to take money from gullible peasants. The district judge orders the immediate removal of the window. The pane of glass is taken out, removed from its wooden frame, and carried under guard before a commission of experts. The court's order is categorical: find the trick, and to do that they call in the best glassmakers in the region. If an image is on glass, then it must have been painted. And if it was painted, friction would destroy it. This was the experts' unshakable logic. The master glassmakers begin with physical abrasion. They take ash, sand, lye, and rough cloths. They literally begin to sand down the surface of that small piece of glass. Any organic pigment, any ink or paint from the 1700s would have peeled away in seconds under that brutal treatment. But the commission witnesses a surprising scene. Under the force of the sand and scrapers, the image does not lose even a millimeter of its color. In fact, it almost seems to become brighter. The glassmakers stop, turn to the judges, and declare, "There is no thickness on this glass. There is no paint. There is nothing to scrape away." But the authorities refuse to give in. If it is not paint, perhaps it has been invisibly etched. They decide to move on to phase 2, the heavy artillery, chemistry. It is at this moment that the story openly challenges the laws of physics. The scientists bring powerful solvents and corrosive acids into the room, substances capable of damaging the glass itself. They pour the acid directly onto the face of the Virgin Mary. The judges move closer. Under the action of the acid and the moisture, the face suddenly vanishes. The pane returns to being an ordinary plain piece of transparent glass. The skeptics smile. "We told you," they exclaim. "It was a chemical trick and we destroyed it." The fraud has been exposed, science has won. But wait, the chemists dry the pane in order to write the final report. As the moisture evaporates and the surface of the glass stabilizes, the face of Mary slowly re-emerges from nothing. The lines reform. The eyes return to stare at the judges. The acid had destroyed absolutely nothing. The image was still there, completely immune to the corrosive attack. So, they try again. More acid, more rubbing. Every single time the glass gets wet, the image disappears. Every single time it dries, It reappears, as if by magic. What had really happened? The experts of that time realized that the image was not resting on the surface of the glass. The image had been born inside the material itself. Think about it carefully. To create a fake like that, a fraudster in the 1790s would have had to melt sand at thousands of degrees, create a sheet of liquid glass, and somehow insert a photographic coloration inside the glowing molecules before they cooled. And this was decades before humanity invented photography or computers. It was technologically, historically, and humanly impossible. Now let us jump forward to our own time. Let us look at this relic with the eyes of modern science. Today, if we want to trap a grayscale image inside a solid block of glass without using external paint, we need extremely advanced technology. We have to use high-precision lasers that fire beams of light to create controlled microfractures, altering the atomic structure of the glass from within. Do you really think an 18th century peasant girl was hiding a laser machine in her kitchen? The face on the Glass of Absam is what Christian tradition calls Acheiropoieta, an image not made by human hands, exactly like the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe or the Holy Shroud. Faced with absolute evidence, the authorities had to surrender. On March 18, 1797, the investigative commission signed an official document that made history. They put in black and white that the image could not have been created by any known natural or human means. They had tried to destroy it, and in doing so, they had unintentionally given the world absolute and undeniable proof of its divine authenticity. The acid, which was meant to be the executioner of the miracle, had become its main witness. A few days later, that piece of glass was carried in a solemn procession to the Church of St. Michael in Absam, where it remains to this day. A shrine that attracts tens of thousands of people every year. Set in a golden reliquary, intact, uncontaminated. And even today, it challenges anyone to explain its existence. But there is one final detail, perhaps the most fascinating of all. Why does the image disappear when it is wet and reappear when it is dry? Optical physicists suggest that a veil of water temporarily alters the refractive index of light on the glass, hiding the internal micro-alterations of the material from our eyes. But for those who have faith, this physical behavior contains an incredibly deep spiritual message. The glass represents the human soul. When the water of the world, our doubts, our fears, the cynicism of society, and life's hardest trials, floods and covers us, we can no longer see the divine. But as soon as the storm passes, as soon as the sun dries our tears, the image of God is still there, unchanged. Because it is not painted on the surface, where the world can erase it, but fused and impressed by fire deep within our being. Skeptics will always look for an excuse. They will say it is pareidolia, a trick of light, a random stain of dirt. But a random stain does not survive acid, does not resist sand, and does not become fused into glass. If this impossible mystery has left you speechless and strengthened your faith, I want you to do one thing right now. I want all of us to send a powerful message. Go down to the comments right now and write exactly this phrase. My mother, remain engraved in my heart. Amen. Let us create an immense chain of prayer to show those who doubt that our faith does not stop at appearances and that the love of God cannot be erased. May God bless us all.